I make a video as a Twitch streamer and suddenly other people, suddenly Hassan is making, not other people, suddenly Hassan is making videos when he's not live. I get the cubes in the background. Suddenly he has the cubes in the background. Pretty sus. Pretty sus if you ask me. Stealing my swag, dude.
Hello. If you're watching this, that means I just got banned. As in, I got a temporary 24-hour suspension. And we're back together on this deep, up-close, and personal YouTube video. Welcome back to the Hasanabi channel on YouTube. Now, some of you are probably wondering, considering that there's a lot of back and forth going on online about why I got banned once again. Well, you might have actually heard the truth. I got banned specifically because I covered the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter, which apparently, according to Twitch terms of service, dictates a
Chat, wait. Normally, I enjoy my hating as much as I like, you know, anybody else's hating. All right? But I hate this voice. It's so forced. Dude, it's like this. It's like the YouTube curse. I implore you, record yourself when you're just like streaming or talking to other people. And then record yourself when you try and like, when you're trying to make a video. It just comes out on its own. It's so frustrating. Like assigned YouTuber voice at birth. I just go ASMR. And I'm like, I have to like listen to it. And I'm like, okay, I think that sounded normal. And I'm listening to it and it's like, hey guys, I just wanted you all to know. I'm like, how? How does it sound like that? How does it sound like that? I made an active effort. I'm like trying. I'm forcing myself to sound normal. And I listen to it back and I'm doing the YouTube voice. And I'm like, I'm so pissed. Like it's the most time consuming thing about recording a YouTube video is just re-recording the audio over and over and over again. Because every time you record it, it doesn't sound natural. It's so infuriating. It's actually so infuriating.
Suspension, even if I critically examined the manifesto, which is precisely what I did. The reason why I read this is specifically so that you understand that like there is a shit ton of people that are like, no, this is the shooter's actions were directly about finding some Jewish victim to kill. Okay, it's deliberate. It's clear what his reasoning is. You don't have to agree with what he did, and I'm not urging you to. Okay, I'm not saying that at all, but it is deliberate. Ask yourself why the media is not saying that the shooter did this because they were distraught with the violence that they had seen unfolded in Gaza. And the reason why I had critically examined the manifesto of the Israeli embassy staff shooter was because there was a lot of misinformation taking place, as is the case usually online whenever there's a breaking news story. This is what I do. A big part of what I do is holding people's hands through the news media process by allowing them to think critically and helping them understand media literacy. This is precisely why I was covering the manifesto that my friend Ken Klippenstein was able to find and release. Another friend of mine, Eric Toller of the New York Times Visual Investigation Unit, had also uncovered the manifesto of the shooter around the same exact time, and he had also released it on his Twitter page. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because oftentimes when instances like this happens, the media will take bits and pieces of a manifesto to create a framework around the motive, but in this circumstance, the media actually was quite quiet about the manifesto in and of itself. And I think that's newsworthy, but that's not the story here. The story is that I got banned for it. I got temporarily suspended because this is a part of the Twitch terms of service. You are not allowed, as it dictates right here in front of me, to even show a violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. This, I think.
I mean, again, I literally got the same ban when I tried to do, I was following the TikTok trend where everybody was reading Bin Laden's fucking manifesto. I was like, well, they're doing it on TikTok. It's probably fine to do on Twitch. I'm going to denounce it the entire time. I want to see why this is entering the news cycle. I want to see why everyone's talking about this. I've never read it. I bet a bunch of other people have never read it. Let's see. And then it's like, nope, you are not allowed to show a manifesto while denouncing. It's like, okay, all right, okay, sure.
Is not good for news and press freedom. And I said on Twitter, I'll take the suspension, but I hope Twitch changes its policy in the future. And I do believe they might. Having said that, how do we get here? Especially considering that I had covered manifestos of the Cybertruck explosion. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2008 Black Mustang V6 for verification. The Luigi Mangione manifesto. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. The Wisconsin school shooter manifesto.
Thanks, Sapphire. I honestly just do everything with thrifting.
manifesto. Some people think it's pure nothing, but because the hate they make, it ends up killing them without knowing it, which go right ahead. I don't mind, but kind of do at the same time. The literacy rates are abysmal in this country. The manifesto of Ryan Ruth. Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I'm so sorry I failed you. Wait, how did he know? And also the Israeli diplomat shooters manifesto. The atrocities committed by Israelis against Palestine defy description and defy quantification. Why was this different? Why was this a big deal? I'm covering all of these different manifestos on stream, and I've never been banned for it. Well, I believe the reason why this was actually a little bit different is because there was a lot of outside pressure in the immediate aftermath of this shooting. The ADL, Apartheid Defamation League's very own Jonathan Greenblatt, went on CNN only hours after the shooting had taken place to make incredibly slanderous statements about me, stating that I was responsible for this. My rhetoric was responsible for this. Let's take a look.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in
I still can't get over how low poly he is.
the Jewish state.
This is slander through and through. I do not apply awful genocidal language towards Jewish people.
And as other people have pointed out, this is not a pre-watch, but I'm Nostradamus, so I'm gonna have pre-watched it somehow in an alternate dimension. But as other people have pointed out, the standard for calling something a genocide for the longest time was a bar that many people thought was too high. Israel could not be conducting a genocide because a genocide is something too serious to have just been happening right underneath our noses. It's just not possible. Obviously, you guys are calling what Israel is doing a genocide because you are attempting to be anti-Semitic. They refused to use the term. Anyone who was pro-Israel, whether they were Israeli, whether they were Christian Zionists, whether they were Biden, refused to use the word genocide because they believed it was something that required a high bar. It had a high standard to call something a genocide, which I think I respect and understand, but in this context, it is a genocide. And now suddenly you can just say, you're just like fine to throw out the term genocidal language towards Jewish people about Hassan. It's like, what happened to only using the word genocidal about things that are very, very genocidal?
I don't believe that even a genocide that the Israeli government is doing justifies a genocide to the Israeli government or the Israeli people. I am not the one who is defending a genocidal state here. Jonathan Greenblatt is. Having said that, this slander continued with no pushback from the CNN anchor, which I think is rather strange.
Extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Here, Jonathan Greenblatt was making an implication that my rhetoric was responsible for this Israeli embassy staffer shooter going out and finding Israeli embassy staffers and shooting them. This is ridiculous. There is no connection between me and the shooter. The shooter actually followed a bunch of people. I was not one of them on Twitter. He was not following me. What the do you mean? He was, however, following a bunch of, he was following Joe Weisenthal, you know what I mean? To Jonathan Greenblatt's statement, I replied with, Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews and Judaism. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It, however, will not change the truth. And this is important to note because that's not where the story ends. During my coverage, there were a lot of people that stated that perhaps the embassy shooter was maybe a false flag operation. I do not believe that. Part of the reason why I covered the manifesto was precisely for this reason, to make sure that we understood the motives and we understood exactly what this shooter was intending to do. But that wasn't enough. There were the likes of E.L. Jacoby, a Hosborough guy on Twitter who lies at the behest of the state of Israel quite frequently, saying, breaking, Hassan Piker, hailed by the New York Times as the future of progressivism, tells his audience that the DC attack might have been a false flag, then immediately says the guy was genuine with his actions. This is glorification of terrorism. Now, these two things, these two statements here are at odds with one another. But what's actually even crazier is that this is a 37-second video that is attached to this statement. Let's take a look at that 37-second video. But like I'm not I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting is so fucking crazy that it's like you could not have fucking designed a incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who is genuine in his actions and maybe, you know, a little bit brain broken. Okay.
Hot take, you may disagree with me. Twitch has a problem with unfair bias that big streamers get less bans than other streamers. So I can see why streamers are calling out Dan Clancy and Twitch moderation. That's not a hot take at all. Everybody agrees. Everyone's on the same page. Myself, more than any streamer that is not getting 10, 20, 30K viewers will absolutely agree with you. Ice cold take, totally agree with you. The problem is not that there is this unbelievable unfair bias just because they hate small streamers or something. It's that smaller streamers don't have a way to contact Twitch representatives and actually get any change at all for their platform. Because like I remember my alt channel got a perma ban. I tried to appeal it. It was like brigaded. It got a perma ban. I tried to appeal it and they immediately denied it. And I was like, and Twitch's policy is you can't stream on Twitch on a different account if you were banned. Luckily, I was able to speak to a Twitch representative directly and be like, hey, I just put in my ban appeal for this, and then I just got perma'd. This is ages ago. And only because I was able to speak to a Twitch representative was I able to get that removed. Where the Twitch rep was like, I'm so sorry, we've had this problem with like recently with DMCA. Again, this is like years ago. And yeah, we'll fix this right now. Just like put in another appeal and like we'll make sure someone manually reviews it. That they don't have the people, they don't have the staff to sit there manually reviewing every single page, every single account, every single ban. And so they opt for a lot of automation. I'm presuming the automation is way too prevalent. That's an assumption on my part. I don't know the exact reason on why it was automatically, the ban was automatically denied, or sorry, the appeal was automatically denied. But literally, it's just that the larger streamers have a way to contact Twitch and smaller streamers don't. That's it. I see myself in Hassan's chat. Wait, look, real.
Most people that retweeted this didn't even actually watch the video to see whether or not it actually matched up with what this person was saying. Now, why am I talking about this random account? It only got 6,000 likes. I retweeted. I said a fascinating phenomenon nowadays is watching people clip things in context that I'm saying and then turn around and simply claim that I'm saying the opposite of what I'm saying in the clip. This is a 37 seconds long video and this dumbass lied about everything. Why am I bringing this up? Great question. It's because the clip formulated by this account, which stated, Hassan Piker, star of Amazon's Twitch, says the attack sure looks like a perfect false flag. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The guy was genuine with his actions. How fucking absolutely gross is it that this is currently being streamed right now to 40,000 people? Then it turned into this. Hassan Piker, hailed by the New York Times, the future of progressivism, tells his audience that the DC attack might have been a false flag. And yet, here is Jake Tapper retweeting this. So I guess Jake Tapper, one of the most important members of the media, who just came out with a book talking about how the media narratives did not match up with what the people were seeing in terms of Joe Biden's senility, is still doing ridiculous things like this. It doesn't make any sense. But of course, all of that pressure inevitably led to Twitch taking this action. I had covered manifestos in the past on my broadcast. None of those manifestos actually met the same level of scrutiny. This one did. And I don't believe this one did exclusively because it was about Israel. I think this manifesto was simply used as an opportunity to try to get me banned by gaming the terms of service. I did not think I was going to get suspended, but I'll take it. The real reason the ADL and numerous other organizations are actively trying to come after me, however, is because Israel is falling out of favor. Because many Americans and many people in the Western world are now finally seeing the truth that Israel is an apartheid state that is built around an ethno-supremacist ideology and that Israel is doing a live-streamed genocide. Yesterday, they killed a doctor's family. 9 of this doctor's children burned, charred. Images such as this can be seen all over people's timelines and all over social media because now people have unprecedented access to the victims of a genocide, unlike ever before. This is the reason why Israel has fallen out of favor, and has become a pariah state on the global stage. This is the reason why now Western leadership, who have supplied Israel with arms in order to engage in such violent acts for the past 19 months, are finally turning around and stating that perhaps Israel should allow aid in, that perhaps Israel should stop doing war crimes. A former Likud, far-right Israeli prime minister recently came out and said enough is enough. Israel is doing war crimes. Israel has fallen so out of favor that The Atlantic, that a year ago wrote to rebut Hamas's allegations by letting journalists see the war up close would be a calculated risk. Even when conducted legally, war is ugly. It is possible to kill children legally if, for example, one is being attacked by an enemy who hides behind them. This was written on The Atlantic only a year ago. And now that very same Atlantic magazine is writing articles such as this one. It should not be controversial to plead for Gaza's children. Israel's limits on aid have put the region at critical risk of famine. Help is within reach, but it's not enough and it's arriving too slowly. The reason why the tide is shifting is because the pressure valve is insurmountable. Too many people know exactly what's going on, and as fascist ideology is a suicide cult, it seems like Israel is bringing the rest of the Western leadership down with it. Israel is no longer a democracy. You cannot be a democracy while you want to maintain an ethno-supremacist state that is an apartheid state, and you certainly can't be a democracy while doing a genocide. But the Western world that seemingly was able to abide by and hope that the pressure goes away from the broader public are now being forced to listen to the demands being made by the public. So there is a interesting bargain here ahead of us. Will our politicians listen to our voices and try to maintain the presence of a democratic process, or will they go down with Israel? As I say here, every day that goes by, more and more people realize the truth. The very same institutions that spent countless hours defending and contextualizing Israel's genocide will now change their tune. Try and deplatform me all you like, but you can't change what people have seen. One day, everyone will behave as though they were always against this. I'm Hassan Piker. I hope you can keep supporting me and watching me on YouTube, because even if I get deplatformed from Twitch completely, I will still find a way. And even if I am deplatformed entirely from every single website, the truth will still come out. On that note, see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye. I love the girly pop bye at the end. Bye. Yeah. Very well said, Mr. Piker. Mr. Parker, if that even is your real name. Mr. Henry Parker. Alrighty. That's Hank Becker doing a leftist impression. It's pretty good. Pretty good leftist impression. Did you put this on the docket? Dude, I kind of want to do this. The Zionist or Nazi? Wait. Good clip, question mark? Sorry, I rewatched to the end. Twitch is just not consistent with their rules. If they were actually consistent with their rules, he would have gotten banned on the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last one. Technically, all of those were against terms of service, but he only got banned for this one. They were all technically ban-worthy offenses according to the rules. Also, we're not going to get a good change to that ruling, and we're not going to get a good adjustment. It's kind of like the gay cake, gay wedding thing. You have to find a bakery that eventually says, no, I won't make you that cake, so you can actually take to the court system, so you can eventually take them to the Supreme Court, so you can fight for people's rights. It's sort of the similar, this is gay cake. Hassan is gay cake. Hassan is gay cake, guys. This is just true. If you guys don't tell him that he is gay cake, I'll be very disappointed in all of you, okay? Hassan is gay cake. Oh, God. All right. But yeah, I mean, dude, who was that? Who was that lady in that video? Wait, she was kind of spitting. She was kind of spitting. Wait, is he unbanned already? I mean, it was a 24-hour ban.